Savitri got a very clear mandate, very clear instruction, Adesh, that she should annul herself totally and make room for God to be present there. Thou shalt be one with God's bare reality. One with God's bare reality. We shall see this thing in more detail, but we have same stage in the spirituality of Ashwapati. 79.19. Then to the ascent there came a mighty storm. A height was reached where nothing made could live. Nothing made could live. A height was reached. That is the bare reality already. That is nirvana for Ashwapati. Was reached where nothing made could live. A line where every hope and search must cease. So all our pursuit had to stop. Near some intolerant bare reality. Intolerant bare reality. This is exactly what we have here in the case of Savitri. Bare reality. There it is intolerant bare reality. A zero formed, pregnant with boundless change. So first you have to become zero. That zero is a pregnant zero, out of which everything will come out. God will come out. God will come out. You see. So basically you can see here that in fact what is happening is Savitri is explaining Savitri. You don't need anybody. Savitri is explaining Savitri. Thou shalt be one with God's beard. Now, here is God. In the case of Ashwapati, it is intolerant. Intolerant bare reality. So, in other words, God stands for intolerance. He is intolerant. He will not accept anything which is anti in that sense. He is intolerant of that. So the word God and intolerant, they are in that sense equivalent here. See. And the miraculous world he has become, and the diviner miracle still to be, the diviner miracle still to be, that will happen only when, still to be, it will happen only when you have emptied yourself out fully. No. So, yeah. When nature, who is now unconscious God, translucent grows to the eternal light, her seeing his sight, her walk, his steps upon her, of course, stands for nature. And life is filled with the spiritual joy, and matter with the Spirit's willing bride. This is what we saw last time. Consent to be nothing and none. In the case of Ashwapati, it was assent to be a reality. Here, consent to be nothing. Savitri's consent is required that nirvana is not going to impose upon her. She has to say that yes, I accept it, I will enter into it. She has to give. That is the choice she has. Consent to be nothing and none dissolve time's work. Dissolve time's work. This is a very great thing. So, foolish time has been doing all along foolish things, and we are living in foolish time all the while. That has to go away, see. Let us go away. Dissolve time's work. Cast off thy mind. So, in a certain sense, what is time's work? It is connected with mind. It is connected with name and form, giving definiteness, concreteness. They had to go away. All that thing you see. Nama, Rupa, Chintana, all that thing what is there, they had to go away completely. Dissolve time's work. They are the product of time. Anal vessel that only God may be. This is an imperative. The sentence is an imperative sentence. It is a command. She has to obey. Although she was told to consent. But then, no, you must do that. You must do that. Annul thyself. Yeah. That only God may be. Now, this line, Mother has referred to this line in number of her talks. Annul thyself that only God may be. This is from Mother on Savitri. 3rd March 1960. She says, there is a line by Sri Aurobindo in Savitri which expresses this very well. She's talking of a condition at the time. To annul oneself so that only the Supreme Lord may be. And there are many, many experiences like this. Now, I don't understand what is really being conveyed. That revelation is beyond our grasp. Many, many experiences like this of annulling oneself. What exactly? No, I can't imagine. It is only a very small beginning of annulling. Once you annul, then the real beginning becomes. This one in particular came to mark the new stage. 4 years have elapsed and now 4 years to come because everything is focused on this body to prepare it. Everything is concentrated on it. That is what would mean many, many experiences in the context of annulling totally. Body is now opening out. Body is down, and therefore many, many experiences. The master of, because everything has focused on this body to prepare it, everything has concentrated on it, nature, the master of yoga, the supreme, everything. So only when it's over, not before, will it really be interesting to speak of all this. So this is a process that doesn't interest me, but it has to happen. But maybe it will never be over after all. It's a small beginning, very small. There is only one thing you can do, annul yourself. This is the basic condition. The foundation, nirvana is the foundation for real divinization of things in this creation. A time comes when the effort to conquer the negative parts of creation and death, and when you have conquered that, then you're above. And then if you look at all these things, even those which seem the most opposed to the divine, Even acts of cruelty done for the pleasure of cruelty, you see the presence that announces their effects of cruelty, of all that thing, and is absolutely marvelous. Is when the king, that is Ashwapati, makes his last surrender to the universal mother, he annuls himself. That is Ashwapati's context. And she gives him the mission he must fulfill. He has to first empty himself out fully. Then now he is ready to carry out her mission.
So to annul is a higher stage of surrender.
Yes, yeah, it is the non-manifest. It is non-manifest, the absolute. Because it is non-manifest, one can't speak anything about that. It is unknowable. What is there in it, what can speak? What is present, what is manifest, about that one might be able to speak something. But what is not present, or what is to be fully withdrawn, it is impossible to speak anything. When he wakes up from that state, he has a vision of the universal mother, Ashwapati, and receives his mission. So that is the beauty of it. In other words, it is the purity of his being in which the command comes to him to carry out his mission. And what remains is only her order, her command, that's all. It's captivating this Savitri. Shyamandu Savitri, she is praising Savitri. I believe it's his message. Savitri is his Shyamandu's message. All the rest is preparation, while Savitri is the message. Well, this is a little confusion. It can drink up the sea of all delight and never lose the wide spiritual touch. Jamais peindre le blanc contact de l'esprit. Well, jamais, never, you see. Yeah, science. Yeah, science, jamais. Yeah? No, in my this thing of the copying it is got. Yeah. Now this is something fantastic. Yesterday I read with Huda when they were doing the painting at the time. Savitri's series of experiences when she begins with self-annulment. Annul thyself so that God alone exists. Annul thyself that only God may be. It begins with self-annulment. Then she had the experience of being the all. When she has annulled, then she had the experience of being the all. That is, of being the supreme. Then Mother says something very beautiful here. First, she meets her soul. She, of course, Savitri. She meets her soul. A house of flames. She enters the house of flames and unites with her soul. That is Canto 5. It's after that, after there is Nirvana. She goes into Nirvana and becomes just a violet line of nothingness. She goes into Nirvana, just becomes a violet line of nothingness. This is what the painting was all last night. Unutterably effaced, no one and null, a vanishing vestige like a violet trace, a faint record merely of a self now past. She was a point in the unknowable. See, she's still there, maybe small, bit, whatever. It's not that it got dissolved, it has disappeared, vanished. No, it is still there. That focus is still there. That, so to say, individuality of Savitri is still there present. It has not disappeared totally. A vanishing vestige, a vanishing vestige. It's not a vanished vestige. Like a violet, a faint record merely of a self now past. She was a point in the unknowable, bindu, what we say in Sanskrit, bindu, point. Then finds herself back in her body after that experience. That's where it begins. A chapter without a title. That is the next chapter, canto. I will find it sometime. And then she says, so then suddenly in the body, I was over there in the music room, mother's room, and Huta was reading to me. Then when she had finished reading, all of a sudden the body sat up straight in an aspiration and a prayer of such intensity. Now that is also the power of Savitri, the verses of Savitri. See, mother can feel that power which is there in Savitri, in the text. Then when she had finished reading, all of a sudden the body sat up straight in an aspiration and a prayer of such intensity. It was a dreadful anguish of vanishing. You know, see, the whole experience is here in the mother. Here means in the mother, in her. Complete, total, perfect. And because this thing, this body, has lived too long, it no longer has the power of expression. And it said, but why, Lord, why? Why do you take away from me the power of expression? Because this has lived too long? Is it because of that? It was a sort of revolution in the body's consciousness. Things have been much better since, much better. There has been a decisive change. It was the exact description of the body's present state. So what we are reading is this one. Sri Aurobindo wrote in 1947 all those things. And mother is getting that experience in 1965, almost 20 years afterwards, you see. Yeah, this is the translation of that line. It is all right? Anantva pukha shul ladevha swa. A very free translation, mother says. This is a mother's own translation, very free translation. But the idea is there. Why it is a free translation?
No, it's good, I think.
Because that only God maybe could be translated differently.
Sorry?
Yeah.
That only God maybe
Yeah.
could be translated differently.
Different way. Yeah.
Seul Dieu puisse.
Yeah.
Differently, different.
The sense is there.
Could be different.
Yeah.
It's a free translation.
Yeah. No, but she says specifically free translation. So
Mother said, no?
mother said that. This is mother. Yeah. This mother said. Yeah. Yeah. Free translation. I mean, see, you can see the difference. Anal that only God may be. It is not free line. This is poetry. There is rhythm. There is rhythm. There is poetry in that. There is a meter. Anal thyself that only God may be. So compared with that, this is a free translation. that rhythmic effect is not there in that sense. Is it there?
If you remove only the
In
last one,
French.
like he said,
It could be powerful in French also.
only the soir, tu dois seul le divin puisse être. Maybe. He has to put like he said,
Yeah.
maybe puisse être.
Mother translated God by le divin. God is Dieu. actually, in French. Not the divine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, but the sense is there.
Of course.
The sense is there. You see, the point is free. What happens when you are reading this line? Unless that only God may be. Apart from rhythm and all that, it has power. It is something which will achieve it, which will establish it. That line will see that it is done. What we call the mantric effect is there in that sense, that it is achieved, it is done. Anal, that only God may. Yes, it has to be done. See, Mother has spoken about this particular line on a number of occasions. Almost about a dozen occurrences are there, all this you see. This particular line alone, you see, so important in that sense, you see. The mother takes up the reading of Savitri, the end of the debate of love and death. This is in the, what she is going to say here. It is a speech by this gentleman. Is this a speech by this gentleman? Yes, laughing. Yes, is the end of the speech. One of us should write. If it's more convenient for me to write, I will write. It's always better to have your handwriting, but if it tires you, it's quite easy for me to note it down. What Satprem is telling to mother. Tires? Oh no. It's just that it is no longer good. At that age, you see, it's no longer. Her handwriting was very artistic, you see. It's no longer as it should be, but it doesn't tire me. So we'll put, the mother writes her French translation of the following verses. If thou were spirit and nature is thy robe, she is addressing to death. If thou were spirit and nature is thy robe, cast off thy garb and be thy naked self. Immutable, it is undying truth, alone forever, in the mute alone. Turn then to God, for Him leave all behind, forgetting love, forgetting Satyavan, annul thyself in His vast immobile peace. This is what death is telling to Savitri. Annul thyself in His immobile peace. Go and disappear in Him. Forget about Satyavan. Who is Satyavan after all? You are not concerned. O soul, drown in His still beatitude, for thou must die to thyself to reach the divine heights. No, we must put God in death's mouth, the mother says. All that you see. For thou must die to thyself to reach God's height. I death am the gate of immortality. Mother says it's very clever. But it's a fact also. Every time you read it again, it's new. See, this is what Mother says, you see. But that's a very interesting phenomenon. Every time I read Savitri, I feel as if I am reading it for the first time. Really, it's not that I understand differently. It's that it's completely new. I never read it before. It's odd. It's at least the fourth time I read it. It's completely new. Same Savitri read again and again is completely new. Because in the meanwhile you grow. And new power of Savitri opens out in that process. So it's not a thing which is read and finished off and kept aside, you see. And truly this everything in it, all the things I had discovered lately were there in Savitri. This is when she was doing the yoga of physical transformation. Everything is there. And I hadn't seen it. It's odd. I lived with him for so many years. He had written all those things so many years ago. The first time I read, it was a revelation. It hung together perfectly well from beginning to end. And I felt I had understood. I did understand something. The second time I read it, I said to myself, but this is in the same thing as what I read. It hung together, it made up a whole. And I understood something else. Then recently, when I read, at every passage I said to myself, how new this is, and how the things I have found since are there. This is the newness. In other words, it is the way of progressing in one's yoga through Savitri. Today again, that's how it is. As if I read it for the first time, and it puts me into contact with the things I had just discovered. It's miraculous book. This Savitri, this miraculous book. Thus spoke the mighty and uplifting voice, and Savitri heard. She bowed her head and mused, plunging her deep regard into herself, in her soul's privacy, in the silent night, in the soul's privacy, in the silent night, in the silent night. You see now, this night is capital N. It is not the night when she was doing all that yoga, the physical night. In a soul's privacy in the silent night. Aloof and standing back, detached and calm. Well, this is the condition. This is the condition. She received the Adesh. She was told to consent. She has agreed to consent, to follow what she was told to do. And the condition is, you don't project yourself at all. Let things work in you. Standing back, detached and calm. It is not any way going to, you should not interfere with the process in any way at all. And calm, of course. A witness of the drama of herself. So now what is going to happen is a drama. All the kind of things are going to happen. A witness, the Savitri is a spectator of that drama. She is Sakshi. She is simply watching things. She is a spectator there, witnessing the drama. She is not participating in the actions on the stage. A student of her own interior scene. So Savitri is a witness, Savitri is a student. Carefully noting down, trying to understand what is happening. She watched the passion and the toil of life and heard in the crowded thoroughfares of mind the unceasing trade and passage of her thoughts. So that is the drama which is going on. Thoughts moving in the corridors of her mind. The unceasing trade and passage of her thoughts after thoughts coming and rushing through her. In fact, now only when you stand detached and calm, you can see the movement of thought. Otherwise, you don't see. I mean, the whole thing is a noisy thing, crowded. We don't understand what is happening, where they are coming from, what they are doing, and all that kind of thing, you see. In fact, this is also the very first spiritual experience of Sri Aurobindo around 1st January 1908 in Baroda. When he was there, with Lily. Lily had told him, sit quiet, keep your mind silent, and you see thoughts coming to you. They don't arise from you, they are coming to you. And within 3 days, he got that experience of the whole thing. Silent mind, passive Brahman. What takes years and years and years, if not life, for the yogis, he got within 3 days, the passive Brahman. Thoughts coming from outside, you could see that. And he said that you don't like a thought, you can stop it coming. You can see the thought walking towards you, you don't like it, stop it also. A witness in the drama of herself, a student of her own student, therefore the student is watching whether it is good to study that thought or not, it can be kept aside. You see. All she allowed to rise that chose to stir, calling, compelling not, forbidding not, calling, compelling not, forbidding not, because she is a witness. She is not going to interfere with the process. And why she is allowing? She is neither compelling nor forbidding them, but she is allowing. Why? Because she is a student. She is a witness, she is a student. What are they for? What are they up to? She would like to study, understand that as a student. You see. She allowed to rise that chose to stir, calling, compelling not, forbidding not. She felt all to the process formed in time. Sorry, she left all to the process formed in time and the free initiative of nature's will. So all these thoughts, all that chose to stir are from nature's will and from time. Thus, following the complex human play, she heard the prompter's voice behind the scene. She is watching the whole thing like a drama. So the image of drama, the metaphor of drama, is now being elaborated. It's continuing. Thus, following the complex human play, she played same thing, drama, play. She heard a prompter's voice. Just before you utter something, there is a prompter who is going to tell you, start this line. Prompter's voice, behind the scene, perceived the original libretto. So, that's the book, small little book. And the organ theme to the composer foe, and the organ theme to the composer foe. Perceived the original libretto said, and the organ theme to the composer foe. This is very powerful. And the organ theme to the composer foe. See the beauty of this line. And the organ, that is another. Gun, theme, am, of the third foot. Compose, fourth foot. Earth, force. Particularly very beautiful line, you see. And the organ theme with the composer force. Organ music, I think about organ, Mozart has said it is the king of instruments, no? Organ is the king of instruments. I think let me see that. Yeah, Mozart says organ is the king of instruments. So it is that organ theme of the composer. See the same drama image is going on. Libretto, play, organ, prompter, same imagery is going on throughout. You see, composer force, organ theme. Nowadays, if at the time of Mozart he called it organ as the king of instruments, I don't know what he would call today's organ with 1,000 pipes. You can imagine 1,000 pipes. What you would call, I don't know. See. And how rich. And I think it can play on number of octaves. With 1,000 pipes, it can play on number of octaves. Not limited to 2 or 3 octaves. It can go up and down. She beheld. So that is the composer force. She beheld that surges from man's depths, the animal instincts prowling with life's trees. She beheld, she is the witness, she is the student, she is watching all that thing. The surges from man's depths, the animal instincts prowling with life's trees, the impulses that whisper to the heart, and passion thunder is sweeping the nerve. She saw the power that stared from the abyss and the wordless light that liberates the soul. She's seeing all that thing now, she's watching all that thing. All the subconscious things that are there in man, how they're rising, and the power that stares from the abyss from below, and something which is watching from above. The wordless light that liberates the soul. She's watching both simultaneously. Something from above, something from below coming in that way. And saw the power to stare from the abyss, that is understandable. And the wordless light that liberates the soul. Now, what is wordless light?
Light doesn't speak.
What does it say, your friends?
C'est lumière sans parole. Lumière sans parole. What's it? What? Sans parole.
And the wordless light that liberates the soul. Well, it means basically, as I might understand, it doesn't speak. It does its work quietly. It is light, it comes, it does its work. That's all. You need not utter, make noise, make shout, say this, say that, announce. No. Quietly keep on doing your work. That is wordless light that liberates the soul. It is that alone which can liberate. And the wordless light that liberates the soul. Now, there is something very beautiful again in this line. You can see the poetry also. And the wordless light that liberates the soul. How many else are there? The alliteration. Light, light, liberates soul. The alliteration is very powerful there, you see. And the wordless light that liberates the soul. And the rhythm is uniform throughout, you see. See, I mean, suppose, for instance, you say, and the wordless light that frees the soul. Gone, totally gone. The sense may be there. The sense may be there. You cannot change the word at all. But most her gaze pursued the birth of thought. The entire thrust is on thought, birth of thought. The entire pursuit. Why? It is a part of time's work. Mind, the measurer, mind who brings smallnesses, littleness, finiteness, units. It is that has to go away. You cannot liberate yourself if the mind is there. Because the very nature of mind is to limit, to restrict, to define. Therefore, in the context of this one, her main focus is on the birth of thought. Where from these thoughts are coming? Where from they are really arising? A franchise from the look of surface mind, She paused not to survey the official case. We say official case, what is it? We say all these things are coming from mind. She is not going to accept that official explanation of the thought arising from that. She paused not to survey the official case. The issue of forms and from the office of the brain is factory of thought sounds and thought words and voices stored within, unheard by men, is mint and treasury of shining coin. So now you see, earlier it was the image of drama, composer, musician. Now it is the image of mint, where the coins are minted. In this one, survey the office, the issue of form and office of brain, factory of thought sound. What is the factory? Where you mint coins. Thought sounds and soundless words, and voices stored within, unheard by men, is mint and treasury of shining coin. So, for us, they look very beautiful ideas, very powerful ideas, and all that. This is what we have been seeing in all the philosophies, you see. These were but counters in mind symbol game. Now the image has changed. You see, earlier it was drama, then it was a mint, where you manufacture coin. Now it is game. What is the game? Counters in mind symbol game. Counters, you give tokens. I have won so many points, you have won so many points, like that, you see, in the game. Symbol game. A gramophone set disc, a reproductions film, a list of signs, a cipher, and a code. So this is the symbol of the game, you see. Now, of course, you were using gramophone and reproduction film and all that. Those were the greatest technological things of the time. Now you have got CDs, you have got DVDs, you have got this, you have got that. And surely you use those things also. Digital cameras, you don't have, there was a fad some time ago for polarized cameras, polarized films. So you get the instantaneous picture. Now, now all gone. See. In our unseen subtle body, she is surveying now. Her concentration is, she is going to study where from these thoughts are coming. Pursue the birth of thought. Our main concern is, where from are these thoughts arising? And in that context, in our unseen subtle body, thought is born. Thought is not born in mind, but in this subtle body. Sukshma Deha, Sukshma Sharira. Or there it enters from the cosmic field. So now Savitri is observing, she is a witness, she is a student. What does she study? What does she note in a notebook? That thought is either born in the subtle body or it is coming from the cosmic field into the subtle body. It is not coming from mind. This is not a manufacturer of thought at all. It is coming from the cosmic field or it is arising from the subtle body. Now, yes.
Why a cipher?
Why?
Cipher. Why cipher?
A cipher and a code, a list of signs, a cipher and a code, zero, nothing. Zero. Yeah. Reproductions. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Cipher is zero. The Arabic word cifra. Cifra. Cifra is the word which has come from the Sanskrit shubhra. Shubhra, white, plain, blank. White, shubhra, white, pure white. Cipher. White. White.
White.
White. No, you can't see any color there at all. It's all completely Shubhra. Everything is there, but not seen. That is Shiv. That is Shubhra. So the zero has the origin from Shubhra of Sanskrit. Shubhra has become Sifra in Arabic, and from that it became cipher in English. Shubhra. Everything is present in it. It is pregnant. Everything is there, but not separated out, not analyzed, not colors. All the colors are there, but not seen at all. That is the cipher. And the sign, the symbol for the zero is complete O, round. Everything is present in it, yet there is nothing in it. And the Greek word for zero is obol, O-B-O-L-E. Obol, huh? Obol is the a coin of smallest denomination. Smallest value, lowest value, paisa, you see, zero. It has no value at all, you see, obol. And that was valued very much by the Greek, obol. So when a person was to die, then the family member used to keep that obol in the mouth of the dead person. And that was supposed to be the fare for crossing the river of death. So the obol was there of no value. Okay, take it away. You see. Oh, that is so that is how men cheat also, you see. To cross the river Styx, you see, you pay to the ferryman that obol, okay. So that is the cipher, zero. That's the code. It's a game. But Savitri is, this is the most revealing part. I don't think anywhere in the spiritual literature we have this statement that the thought is born in a subtle body or it comes from the cosmic field. Both of them are there. Nowhere in the spiritual psychology, even modern psychology doesn't understand that, will not understand that thing. But this is what Savitri is observing. Thought is either coming from the cosmic field or is born in the subtle body.
There is one who spoke about this.
Yeah.
Castaneda, did you ever hear about Castaneda book?
Who has spoken?
Castaneda. His name is Carlos Castaneda.
I see. That's in the subtle body it is born?
He spoke many things like in Savitri that the mantle we created from the cosmic, like the last time you say something like he make a selection from the infinite and he fixed the mind. He speaks something like this and like this, even like this.
But this is a very most revealing statement, I tell you.
From the shaman American
I see.
Yaki, the sorcerer. He has something very interesting.
Well, if you got some reference, you can just let me have a look at them.
It's very difficult to give some just sample, but because he wrote a lot of books, and when you enter in this, all his writing speak about something like.
In the Sanskrit scriptural literature, I don't think I have read or come across this part that this thought is born in the subtle body or it comes from the cosmic field. Now, the rest of the canto is mostly the elaboration of these two lines. How the thought is born in the subtle body, how the thought comes from the cosmic field, and what Savitri has to do to take care of this thought. She has to go beyond thought. She has to see, because thought is a formation. Thought is a formation. And unless you go beyond formation, you cannot annul yourself. That is why she has to take care of this part in time. Name and form, mind. These are the characteristics of thought. In our unseen subtle body, thought is born, or there it enters from the cosmic field. First, we are going to read how the thought is born in the subtle body. And then move on to the cosmic field, how it comes from the cosmic field. Out from her soul stepped out a naked thought. That is the first thing which is happening. The thought is coming out from the soul. Subtle body now is talking, elaboration of that first line. Out from her soul stepped out a naked thought, a pure, luminous, with mistreated lips and wonderful eyes. So thought is a person. Thought is a person. See? Wonderful eyes, mistreated lips, luminous, bright. Or from her heart emerged some burning face. It is not soul, it is from the heart now, the subtle body. From her heart emerged some burning face and looked for life and love and passionate truth. Aspire to heaven or embrace the world, or let the fancy like a fleeting moon across the dull sky of man's common day. Now this is what the thought which is coming from the heart doing. Or let the fancy like a fleeting moon, so in the autumn moon, the way the thought moves like a fancy scene, or let the fancy like a fleeting moon across the dull sky of man's common day, amid the doubtful certitudes of earth's lore, to the celestial beauty of faith gave form, as if at flower print, a dingy room, lapped in a golden vase, one living rose. That is what this thought is doing. And then a thaumaturgist, a magician, thaumaturgy, magic, sat in her heart's deep. So there is another one now. See, soul, heart, within heart, deep. Compel the forward stride, the upward look, till wonder leapt into the illumined breast. So from the depths of the heart is coming into the breast. And life grew marvelous with transfiguring hope. So that is the power of this thought. See, very welcome, and one would really like to have them, but Savitri has to say, no, even this will not do for me. A seeing will pondered between the brows. Now, from here, the thought is arising, from Ajna Chakra. Seeing will. From the Ajna Chakra, the thought is arising. Thoughts, glistening angels stood behind the brain. From behind the brain, they are like angels. And what are these angels? Flashing armor, so they are wearing armor, protecting themselves. Folding hands of prayer, the thoughts are standing with hands of prayer like that. Folding hands of prayer from behind the brain. In flashing armor, folding hands of prayer, and poured heaven's rays into the earthly form. So that is what these angels are doing. They are pouring all that thing into earthly form. So she has now seen the thought coming to the soul, from the heart, from deep within the heart, from the breast, from this part, now from behind the brain. These are the various regions of the subtle body, you see. Thoughts glistening angels stood behind the brain, in flashing armor, folding hands of prayer, and poured heaven's rays into the earthly form. Imaginations flamed from her breast. Again, from her breast, the imagination coming out to see. Unearthly beauty touches the surpassing joy, and plans of miracle, dreams of delight. Around her, so breast, now navel, around her navel lotus, clustering close, her last sensations of the teeming world. So now where the subconscious is there, the thoughts are arising from that, from the navel. Her last sensations of the teeming world, streamed at dumb movements of the unformed idea, invading the small sensitive flower of the throat. Now the thoughts are coming from here, from the throat. They brought their mute, unuttered, they brought their mute, unuttered resonances to kindle the figures of a heavenly speech. The expression comes from here. Kindle the figures of heavenly speech. Below the navel. So, describing all the below the navel. Below, desires found a wordless wish, and longings of physical sweetness and ecstasy translated into the accents of a cry, their grasp of objects and a clasp on soul. Then her body's thoughts climbed from her conscious limbs, even from the limbs, the thoughts are coming. The hands are speaking, the legs are speaking, the feet are speaking. Her body's thoughts climbed from her conscious limb and carried a yearning to its mystic crown. Carried a yearning to its mystic crown at the top here, where nature's murmurs meet the ineffable. Sahasrara, the center above the head, the 1,000-petaled lotus here, is carrying it. Where, so you see, all this is happening because Savitri's subtle body is ready. The divine force has entered into it, and now she sees in that body, the thoughts are coming from every part of that body, you see. But for the mortal prisoned in outward mind, well, this is what happens in the case of Savitri, where subtle body is away. But for the mortal, what happens? Prisoned in outward mind, we are prisoned in outward mind, physical mind. You see, all must present their passports at its door. See, the thoughts are coming there, but we don't see them unless they present their passport. Their visa is there, everything is ready. Then only they are allowed to go. In other words, mind will recognize only that which it can understand. Others it will reject, throw away, not accept. Mortal present in outward mind, all must present. Now, all may present there, but mind may not still be able to accept them or see them, that they are valid, that they got a proper visa. All the passports at its door, disguised, they must don the official cap and mask, obviously. See, these are figures, these are people, thought. Yes, they are hiding themselves, but they have to pass through the customs gate. So, okay, put on some garb, some dress, something, and get out. See, disguised, they must don the official cap and mask, or pass as manufacturers of the brain. So that is what the brain will accept only, you see. Unknown the secret truth and hidden souls. So that nobody knows, you see. But of course the question arises, all right, they are doing all these things, but why are they insistent to come out? Why should they enter my house? Because they want to do something here. These angels are there, they are praying, all those things are there. They want to express themselves something also in the outward life. If they want to express, they want to put something in action, some movement has to be done because of that, they must put on that mask, that dress, and come out from that. Therefore, unknown the secret truth and hidden. So their secret truth has to come into manifestation, into expression. Their hidden source has to be kept behind. Only to the inner mind they speak direct. The outer mind, as it says here, outward mind cannot understand me. For the outward mind, you have to take some kind of a form which is recognizable, which is recognized by the outer mind. But for the inner mind, only to the inner mind they speak direct. Put on a body and assume a voice. The passage seen, the message heard and known, their birthplace, and the natal mark reveal. See, the birth mark is there also, natal mark. Yeah, yes, we have come from here, we have come from there, we have come from there. Yes, we have come from the subtle body. Which part is subtle body? Brain. Which part is subtle body? Maybe this one. So they put that mark, birthmark. Their birthplace.
Every thought has this.
Yeah, thoughts have that birth. Yeah, they have got their own character, their own. Huh? Yeah? Yes. No, not emanation. They are figure, they are person.
Subliminal part of our body.
Not liminal. Subtle body is beyond the subliminal. Yes. Subliminal is only one aspect of the subtle body. Actually, it is in the subtle body, the subliminal, that things have to first form before they find themselves outward expression. Their birthplace and their natal mark reveal and stand confessed to an immortal side, our nature's messengers to the witness soul. Impenetrable, veiled from mortal sense, the inner chambers of the spirit's house disclose to her their happenings and their gifts. Her, Savitri, their happenings and their gifts. Eyes look through crevices in the invisible wall. So there are walls, there are small gaps there, so that they are seeing. And to the secrecy of the unseen doors, there came into mind's little frontal room thoughts that enlarged our limited human brain. So that is the purpose they want to come out. They put on the official mask, cap, this thing, that thing, etc., etc., to enlarge our human range. Lifted the idea's half quenched or sinking torch, or peer to the finite at the infinite. Now, with this, what happens now? Thoughts are coming. Our senses assume a different significance when they are coming out, you see. Sight opened upon the invisible. So it is not the normal sight with which you are seeing now. The sight opens to the invisible. Senses receive that mortal eyes see not. This is what happens. It has opened, the sight has opened to shapes which the mortal, the ordinary man cannot see at all. See. Means in a certain sense, not really exactly like that, but in a way of speaking, you have a kind of a divya drishti. A kind of, it is not a divya drishti of Krishna type, of Arjuna type, but it is a different thing. A sight opened upon the invisible, and inverse with that thing, with that sight, I can see what is happening in your mind. Whether you are thinking good about me or bad about me, I can see. A sight opened upon the invisible and sends the shapes that mortal eyes see not. The sound. So first is sight, then sound. This one is there. All the panchendriyas, all the five senses. This is one ear. This second thing. That mortal listening cannot hear, so our ear is deaf to them. The blissful sweetness, tongue, taste, or the intangible touch. The objects that to us are empty air, that is perfume, fragrance, smell. So all the five senses are now opening to their new significance. Sight, sound, touch, smell, and they are the stuff of daily experience, and a common pavilion of sense and thought. Pavilion, food. So they have become now the food for all our common usual things we see. So basically what has happened now is, thoughts have opened out, senses have become different. The important thing is, first he has described thought, then here in this sentence, sense. So this is what is happening as a result of the thoughts coming out from the subtle body. Subtle senses, the senses are first formed in the subtle body. Our ear is first formed in the subliminal inside, then the physical ear. It is that ear which hears the ear behind the ear, the eyes behind the eyes. And the common pabulum of sense and thought, the beings of the subtle realm appeared. That is because a new sight has opened. The beings of subtle realms appeared, and scenes concealed behind our earthly scene. She saw the life of remote continent, so she has got now far vision. It's not only Divya Drishti, but Dura Drishti, distant vision, television. She saw the life of remote continent. So it's not. So what is happening in Australia? What is happening in South Africa? She can see immediately. You see what is happening in my mind, in your mind, everywhere. She knows everything now. Yeah. Beings of the subtle realms appeared, and scenes concealed behind our earthly scene. She saw the life of remote continent, and far and distance deafened not to voices far. She saw the distance which deafens not to voices far, to the far voices. Now, in the revised edition, it is deafened, and distance deafened not to voices far. She felt the moments crossing unknown minds. So, what is happening in your mind? She is feeling now. She is seeing all that thing. The past events occurred before her eyes. So, the entire cosmic past is seen now, is visible to her, open. So, it is not limited by space, it is not limited by time. She sees far continents, she sees the past, she sees everything. Which one?
The future.
Future.
Yeah.
Now she can see
It's not visible.
what is far and
Yes,
and
far everything.
past. Future she can see
Yes.
also.
She sees, she has the vision of macroscopic things, she has got the vision of telescopic things. She has got the vision of when the Big Bang took place, she has got the vision of what is going to happen tomorrow. In time, in space. Yeah, Trikala Drishti. Yeah. She felt the moments crossing unknown minds. So she may be sitting in the Himalayas. Savitri is meditating in the Himalayas. But she knows now what is happening in the mind of Obama.
And all this is described in detail in the record of Uganda.
In the record, in the,
All this,
yeah, of course, it's all in the record of Uganda.
he saw the future life.
It's
of
amazing, and it's about poetry and what's.
The future lives of the disciples.
he saw the past line and the future line also.
Of the disciples.
Yeah, so incredible. The past of the earth.
See, when it says past events means it does not necessarily mean what happened in the First World War, what happened in the Second World War. This is not really past. Not at all past. Not even what happened in the siege of Troy. Not even what happened at the time of Christ. Not even that. Behind yoga. In the Satya Yuga, what happened? Behind the earlier parts of evolution, what happened? When the Pishachas were there, when the Rakshasas were there, what happened? All that thing, she is seeing everything now. That event is not in the sense of our historical event. It means the entire cosmic evolution in the process of time.
He said it is not at all what we believe.
Yes.
For the
It's
scientists,
very different.
for the
The
scientists,
geological formation of the earth
Everything.
is very different.
Means that Savitri is sitting here now, she knows what was happening in the mind of Krishna, what was happening in the mind of Rama. Our Buddha. You see. Huh?
Sri Aurobindo said at one point in the future there will be no more tigers in India.
No more tigers.
No more tigers in India.
She says, he said that there will be no more tiger.
In the future.
Yeah, of course, in the future. Then what happens to poor Durga, her lion?
I don't know.
What happens to Durga's lion?
Very sad.
You see? Well, therefore, all our. No, I not read that. You got that reference? Well, if he has said that there will be no more tiger, it would mean that all our effort of conservation of is futile.
I think there will be so many people and so much
Yeah.
down everything in the forest and I think
We can just.
Yeah. Well.
like in no bears.
Or maybe-
No, yeah, well, see, of course, one can say in a way also, perhaps in the evolutionary cycle they have served their purpose and therefore they are no more needed. In the evolutionary cycle they have served their purpose and they are no more needed. You see, for instance, dinosaurs, they have disappeared. No, what I'm saying, they were there, but they had disappeared. The necessity of their being there was an evolutionary necessity. That purpose is served, finished, proceed further.
But maybe this tiger will be another species more beautiful and nicely than the tiger.
You can hope
Like,
that's one.
like he is more beautiful than the dinosaur, and maybe it will be another one.
You see, we can justify by saying, see, all right, why should tiger exist? If it is not going to make progress, it is not going to make progress. Progress in the sense of its quality, its spirit, its soul, or whatever it is not going to make, forget, get out, go away, disappear. But if it is going to make progress, it will remain. It has to remain. Perhaps the same thing will happen in the case of man. If he is not going to make any progress, you are not more required, go away. The unseen grew visible and audible. Now he is talking about sense and thought, no? Sense and thought. So sense, visible and audible. So you got video, you see. Both thoughts leap down from a superconscious field like eagles swooping from a viewless peak. So from some high peak, the eagle is swooping down from the above, see, like an eagle. Thought leap down from a superconscious field like eagles swooping from a viewless peak. Thoughts gleamed up from the screen subliminal depths like golden fishes from a hidden sea. So they are glistening from here below, or they are leaping down like eagles. What poetry you see is absolutely.
This is no more thinking mind.
This is thought.
This is thought.
Yeah, this thought. Yeah, this thought.
Gnostic thought.
Yeah. Thoughts leap down from the superconscious, because he's describing where the birth of thought, no, he's talking. Thoughts leap down from the superconscious field. In fact, he is moving now towards the cosmic field. Subtle body, now thoughts come down from the cosmic field. Thoughts come down from the cosmic field, like eagles, they swoop down from above, or like golden fishes, they glisten from below. Thoughts leap down from the superconscious field, like eagles swooping from a viewless peak. Thoughts gleamed up from the screen subliminal depths, like golden fishes from a hidden sea. This world is a vast, unbroken totality, a deep solidarity joins the country powers. Why this suddenly? Because from above or from below, there is a continuity. Thoughts can come from below, thoughts can come from above also. Because this is a continuity throughout. God's summits look back on the mute abyss. So he is clarifying this one. Thoughts coming from above or thoughts coming from, glistening from below. He is clarifying. God's summits look back on the mute abyss. So, man evolving to divinest heights, close still with the animal and the jinn. He is the middleman. The human godhead with stargazer eyes lives still in one house with the primal beast. The high meets the low, all is a single plan. This is elaboration of the same line. The high meets the low, all is a single plan. So she behaves the many births of thought, if births can be of eternal ease. Yes, thoughts are eternal, can they be born? For the eternal powers are like himself, timeless in the timeless, in time ever born. When they step into the process of time, then there is the birth. When something which is eternal, which steps into time, is the birth. So she behaved in many births of thought. What is described? If births can be of what eternal is, they are eternal, they are there always. But when they step into time, into a process, then it is a birth. For the eternal powers are like himself, timeless in the timeless, in time is ever born. So as long as you are in time, there is the perpetual birth, continuing birth. This too she saw, that all in outer mind is made, not born. It's a manufacture, a product perishable, forged in the body's factory by earth's force. This too she saw, that all in outer mind is made, not born, a product perishable, forged in the body's factory by earth's force. This mind is a dynamic small machine, now is a dynamo, producing ceaselessly till it wears out. So it is this machine which will wear out, but the thought will not. Thought will not. Yeah. Producing ceaselessly till it wears out, with raw material drawn from the outside world, the pattern sketched out by an artist God. So he has made this artistic. Often our thoughts are finished cosmic wares. We give them shape, final. Socialism, communism, capitalism. These are thoughts. We give them certain shapes. You see. Often our thoughts are finished cosmic ware, admitted by a silent office gate and passed to the subconscious gallery, then issued in time smart as private made. Yes, this is made in India, this is made in France, made in Germany. See? Then issued in time smart as private made. For now they bear the living person's stamp. They bear the living person's stamp. Marx gave the theory. Adam Smith gave the theory, will of nation. It is his, but actually it is not his. We have given him that name. We have given a name of Marx to his theory, communism. Will of nation. We have given a name. It is already there behind that, you see, somebody. For now they bear, we have given a name. Theory of relativity is there already, but we have given a name to it, Einstein. Now they bear the living person's stamp, a trick, a special hue claimed them his own. So that is how Einstein claims that, well, this is my theory of relativity, but actually the theory of relativity already exists elsewhere. All else is nature's craft, and this too hers. Our tasks are given, we are but instruments. Nothing is all our own that we create. The power that acts in us is not our force. The genius too receives from some high found, concealed in supernal secrecy, the work that gives him an immortal name. Einstein thinks that he has given the theory of relativity, with that he got the immortal name, but actually it has come from somewhere else. It already exists. We can say that there was something in him which opened out to that. That is his credit. But that is not his possession, his property. Theory of relativity is not Einstein's property. Einstein lent himself to receive that. The word, the form, the charm, the glory and grace are missions far from a stupendous fire. They are coming from elsewhere, from the cosmic field, from the stupendous fire. A sample from the laboratory of God, of which he holds the patent upon earth. So this is the patent Einstein is holding, relativity. You see. This is the patent Adam Smith is holding, the wealth of nations, capitalism. You see. Henry Ford, this is the patent he is holding for the car he has invented. Or our modern time, Bill Gates, he is the one holding the patent for PCs. A sample from the laboratory of God, of which he holds a patent upon earth, comes to him wrapped in golden covering. Now you see here wrapped, spelling. WRAPPED. That's the current spelling, wrapped. Wrapped. But the Miltonic spelling is wrapped. Shakespeare uses sometimes like that. Capped, C-A-P-T, capped, kept, wrapped, wrapped. Huh? Means same, yeah, wrapped. See, that is how it was pronounced, wrapped. Comes to him wrapped in golden covering. He listens for the inspiration, postman not. Yes, your letter has come. And takes delivery of the priceless gift, a little spoiled by the receiver mind. Yes, it comes very purely, very beautifully, but or mixed with the manufacture of his brain. When least defaced, then it is most divine. When least defaced, it is most divine. So, that's the problem. Yes, capitalism is a very beautiful idea. Theory of relativity is a very beautiful idea. Communism is a very beautiful idea. Socialism, all this. But are they pure? When least defaced, then they are most divine. They are not really without any defacement. You put your color on them. The receiver puts his color on them. And therefore, you distort them. The true communism is not there because the giver of communism has put something of his in it. Capitalism, everything. Perhaps the same thing for the case of relativity also. He has put something of his. When least defaced, then is it most divine. That is the test of how pure the idea is working. Democracy It's a very beautiful idea, but it is a defaced idea, and therefore it is not divine. In the true sense of democracy, when the individual has found his true inner freedom and exercises that inner freedom, then there is a value for democracy. Not until then. Not until then. So it is a defaced form of democracy. Freedom of speech, the same thing. We talk of freedom of speech. It's a very beautiful idea, but it is a defaced idea due to our own notions of things. Although his ego claimed the world for its use, man is a dynamo for the cosmic world. Nature does most in him, God the high rest. So what is he doing? He is only a dynamo. He is a tool in the hands of God and nature. Only his soul's acceptance is his own. The rest is a tool. He is an instrument in the hands of nature and God. But his true freedom, his true free will, his true independence is in his soul. In his soul. This independent soul, once a power supreme, self-born before the universe was made. This is what we saw last time. Self-born before the universe was made, accepting cosmos, binds himself nature's serf, till he becomes her freed man or God's slave.
This is the soul, no?
Huh?
This is the soul.
Yeah,
This
soul,
independent, one
soul,
is the power supreme.
Soul.
It's not the soul.
yeah, yeah.
The capital
This
S.
independent is soul.
Huh?
This independent for the soul.
Independent is the soul.
Once a power supreme, this is what we saw. In the transcendent, the soul was free there. It has plunged into this one and accepted the serfhood of this creation. Now, self-born is a very tricky word. It is a very tricky word. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. It is self-born or self-born. There is a difference between the two. Self-born, born out of self. Self-born, born by myself.
But then the soul, produces the psychic being. Yeah? In the soul, there's not the psychic being, or is it?
It is soul, not the psyche. He's talking of soul.
Soul.
Yeah.
The psychic being is
No, the psychic being comes when later on. Now here, this independent, that is soul, wants a power supreme. That is in the transcendent, Jivatman. That is Jivatman, central being. Central being. Before the universe was made, before the creation, in the transcendent it was there already before the cosmic existence. And it accepted cosmos. It bound itself to nature. That is what we saw last time. Narad's explaining how it became curious of this world and plunged into this one, you see. Till he becomes her freedman, her nature. Freedman. Now this freedman of course refers to the slavery which was there during the Greek time. Greek time, slavery. So you have got slaves, they had no citizenship, no right to express their free will, nothing, you see. But if the behavior of a certain person is good, then he was made free. He was given the right of the citizenship. He could vote. Not as a slave. Therefore, he becomes a freed man. For instance, the famous stories of that Aesop. Aesop was a slave. He was a slave. But then, because of his knowledge, his stories and all that thing, he became free. He became free. And he became freed man. Greek citizen, his master, his master, you see.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Otherwise, he was a slave.
Why are you speaking about Aesop? What is the relation with Aesop and the freedman?
Freed man, he has accepted nature's slavery. Soul has accepted nature's slavery. Ah. So no, the phrase freed man, I am telling you,
He was slave of another man.
he was another man, yeah. So,
So it's not the
as a phrase, he was slave to somebody. He was slave to somebody. Same way, nature, soul is a slave to somebody.
Now I understand. Okay. So it means during the evolution,
Yes.
the man become free.
Not necessarily. It depends upon the will of the master, the owner of the slave. No, it does not necessarily mean that everybody can become slave.
So now we can say the man is free.
No, we are not free at all. We are not free. No.
You are slave to whom? Now
We are bound to nature.
we are nature.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not to a man.
We are bound to. Well, that's all right. Freed man, you see, till because he's talking of he, because he's talking of he.
I have to explain in French, maybe you don't
Okay.
understand. Ma, l'exemple de Zip, de Zop, avant il y avait l'esclavage de d'homme à homme. Maintenant il n'y a plus d'esclavage d'homme à homme, mais nous sommes maintenant encore esclaves de la nature, mais pas de l'homme. C'est ça que je. Ben, dis-lui, explique qu'est-ce que je veux dire. Did you understand?
Now we are slave of nature, we are no more slave of man, of course.
No, you see, this is a literary way of saying we are slave of nature. Basically, he's talking of he says here nature serve. He has said already nature serve. He says nature serve binds himself as nature serve. A power supreme, this independent, that is his soul, that is man's. So you don't have to really bother because this is man's soul, who's not woman's soul.
I was just wondering about this.
But now you
We are talking about this. Just complaining. I thought slave, no sexes, no gender, no?
This is not woman's. You see.
They are all.
Okay, let's move on. This is literally this freed man is a reference to this freed man is a reference to what was the slavery in the Greek time, and they didn't have the right of citizenship in those days. When they become free, they got the right of citizenship. They could own land in the urban areas and live there as their own masters, you see. Or God's slave. Now this is the thing. Either he becomes free of nature or he becomes the slave of God. Dasi. He becomes Dasi. God's slave. That is exactly what happened in the case of Savitri. She has become the Dasi of God, of the Supreme, ultimately. So, this man, self-born, gets rid of nature, and if he wants, he can become the slave of God.
But where is he born if there's no universe?
Huh?
He's born, he's unmanifest or he's not manifest?
No, see, he has plunged into the universe. He has accepted the working of nature. Now he can become free of nature and obey the law of God.
Yeah, but my question is, if he is, the soul is self-born, is the soul that manifests without
No,
birth?
here self-born, I will say it is self-born, not self-born.
Yeah, so it is manifest without a universe.
Yes, it has come down into the universe, self-born. Swayambhu, self-born. That is Swayambhu. Of my own I am born. I have taken birth of my own. Of my own, I have taken birth. That is Swayambhu.
On its own, the soul
Yes,
takes
taken
birth.
birth. That is self-born. Self-born.
So that takes place now. Souls are getting born.
No, self-born means I have come into birth.
Yeah. But this process just goes on.
It is?
It is going on, this process that souls
No,
take birth.
no. See, he is already taking birth there in the transcendent. He is now plunging into the cosmic work for doing and becoming nature's serf. He has accepted that. And then he becomes a free man, free of nature, or the slave of God. This independent. Earlier, there was nobody to control him except the Paraprakriti or whatever you call it, the transcendent. You see. His soul's acceptance is his own. See, this is the important thing. The rest is all nature and creation and all that, you see. But here, you have to understand this phrase self-born. It is not self-born. It is self-born. Self-born. Means I will read this thing as an am, short long, not long short. There is a difference between the two.